the guy but you've got to have a special kid that does that too. You've got to have a kid that when he's talking to teammates, he means something.
Well, let's join the third member of our team here tonight, Andy Katz.
Well, thank you, John. You know, you mentioned Shabazz Napier. And Shabazz Napier right now, you can make a strong argument that through the first 6 weeks of the season, he is the National Player of the Year. We've made so much about the fabulous freshmen, and they've had a great start to the season. But Shabazz Napier, with what you said and the way he's leading this team in points, rebounds, steals, and assists, and the way he's finished off those games like a game against Florida, he has become one of the best players in the country, and Kevin Ollie is endorsing his campaign.
All right, Andy, thanks a lot. We'll hear from Andy throughout the rest of this game. Stanford comes out, their offense. Patient right now. Nastic goes up, uses the glass. And that'll be going the other way.
Not sure there wasn't a little foul
we got our quick whistle.
The put up. But with that, the Huskies had very, very good defensive play, John. If that's the way they're going to play the whole ball game, that's going to be an asset to them.
Napier into the paint. Oh! Gets rejected by Powell.
Powell did a great job of waiting for the shooter come to him.
Knocked out of bounds, but going to go back out to the UConn Huskies.
Right there, Powell is waiting on it. He handles it in such a way that he doesn't commit the foul. John, so often the guy driving to the bucket winds up shooting 2 free throws, and the defensive player has been too anxious. That was a great defensive play.
Nastic getting his hand on that ball. Swung around, Calhoun. Daniels went after it, can't get it to drop. There's Powell from deep. The big man can face up.
Now that was an example of UConn not being ready defensively. Stanford did a great job of getting the ball into a good shooting position without any opposition.
Boatwright with the handle. Daniels hits the high pick, finds Napier. Shot clock goes to 10. Daniels with a quick spin underneath. Swings it back out. And UConn going after the rebound. And it still belongs to the Huskies.
Connecticut wound up with what you don't want in a possession there, and that was not a very good shot at the end. They were running out of time. They're lucky they got the ball back.
They like to get that quick penetration from the guards and the kick out.
Stanford's done a very good job of containing the offense here out on the perimeter, not giving them a great chance other than the drive that was made a possession ago.
Napier buries a three-pointer.
Well, he went up well. He was under great balance when he went up. Great release of the shot.
Battle underneath.
Going to be a hold, I think, on Nolan. Watch Napier get set here for the shot. He gets that right foot. I always think you're a right-handed shooter, you're a right-footed shooter, and Napier steps into the shot, gets all of his balance on his right foot, and that enables him to go up well to take the shot.
As a defender, should you be able to get beat outside the three-point arc with a step back?
You got to recover. That's a great point, John, because when he gets set and he's picked the ball up, then you've got a great chance to get into him, and they did not. Very good observation, John, because they did not close the gap on that three.
Yeah, I'm graduating, a couple of years working with you, I'm graduating in the night school.
John, you were way ahead of me years ago, but I appreciate you saying that. You have a great grasp of this game, John.
And knocking it down from the outside is Jason Randall. The three-pointer answers back, and he leads them in scoring, averaging over 18 points a game.
The thing that is really good about Stanford offensively, they have very good balance when they shoot the ball from the perimeter. It's not something where they're leaning back, they're going into the shot, and we've seen that 3 times at that end already.
Stanford picks up the foul. Both right, quick inbound pass.
Really good help on defense by Stanford that time. Not enough pressure.
Daniels with the three, and he's the guy they like to get going early.
John, you made a great point on the defense stepping into the shooter as well as the shooter stepping into the shot. And that's twice the defender has not done it on threes that have been scored by Connecticut.
Eustace with the finish on that end. The behind back pass. They were working on defending that today, Stanford was. They almost came up with the turnover. Boatwright, three-pointer off the mark. Powell finally comes down with the rebound.
Boatwright took a little bit of an off-balance shot there. That was a time to make the shot fake and then move past the defender and see what was available.
Randall just turns and fires and shows the smooth shot. Jason Randall, three.
Boatwright was a little slow getting into Randall on the shot there.
Daniels bumps his way back.
You just can't let a guy like Daniels, strong, lengthy guy, get moving into the lane without help. And he was one-on-one all the way to the shot without anybody moving in from Stanford to double up on him and keep him from getting a good shot.
Powell spins, gets it on the iron, and won't drop down.
Almost the same thing there. You just can't let a big post man that's agile have an opportunity to put it on the floor and move in the lane. You've got to double up on it.
It's a matchup Johnny Dawkins talked about this afternoon when I had a chance to spend some time with him. He liked Anthony Brown working on Shabazz Napier because of his size, but Calhoun gets the pass and leans in, but that's a charge. Oh!
Now, I think if we got to look at that, John, we would find that it was a good call.
Well, Shabazz Napier is good early on. At the other end, Eustace with the finish. We'll look when we come back. Stanford with the early lead here in Hartford over UConn. A couple of the best young coaches in college basketball, and I think in a few years we'll just drop the word young because these are a couple of the best. And Johnny Dawkins, it's almost look at it like the grand coach, if you will, for you, because Johnny Dawkins, of course, was coached by Mike Szczesny, new coach. So.
We kept Johnny Dawkins on our Olympic team right almost to the end, and it wasn't just his ability that we kept him with us. It was the way he worked against other players. He did a great job of helping us get ready for the Olympics. Johnny, I've always really appreciated the way Johnny goes about his approach to basketball.
Great preparation. Also,
a little full court press here. I'll try to trap up here around the base, up here around midcourt. Got a little zone by UConn here, a little 2-3 zone.
Dumped into the middle. Powell gets stripped, but it comes right back to him.
The offensive post players, John, thus far have done a better job than the defensive post players have. There have been some good scores inside at both ends.
What do you have to do defensively on that?
He's got to hold his position. He's got to get his body 1 foot on that baseline so the guy can't drive the baseline to the bucket. And then he's got to hold that position. And if you're going to play against a guy that can maneuver in the post, you've got to have help on it. The next guy has got to come down and help take away the path.
Randall with that foul. Daniels with a quick peek to make sure who's going to go across midcourt.
Stanford's in the zone now. I'll screen a little bit on the zone.
Right, pulls up. Boy, if he can make that shot.
That was a great move. He picked it up, picked the ball up right where he had room. That was as good a move as an offensive player could make into the middle of a zone from the perimeter. Boatwright was very, very sharp on that move.
that how you like to attack the zone as we see the shot from outside by Gage?
Well, I think one of the most important things against the zone, particularly the 2-3, is that you get into gaps of the zone, John. When you take the ball into a gap, you've got 2-on-1, and the rest of your game is being played 4 against 3. And that's basically what happened there. He was able to split that gap in the zone, and nobody picked him up.
Well, he didn't stand very long. I guess they didn't like the way Boatwright was able to penetrate that.
Now they got good spread. They've spread the whole court against the zone, but they're fiddling around with it too much over there.
Boatwright as the clock goes to 10. Daniels. 5 to work for Daniels from the baseline. Tough shot. Won't go. Orlander in there with the rebound. Gets his stuff right back in his face, and Gage rips down the loose ball.
That was a little victory by the Stanford zone there. They did a good job of not giving up a good shot. Boatwright had a great shot before.
Oh, ahead of everyone. Daniels drops it in.
Well, that's just a case of Stanford taking its time getting back down the floor, John. They got simply beat by somebody out hustling them there.
Gage from the corner. Big guy shooting threes. Powell with it. Eustace drops it on the iron and drops it in.
That's where Daniels had to help out on the baseline, John. He let the baseline drive be made, and they couldn't stop it inside. You got to have that foot on the baseline itself to keep the driver from going inside.
Giffey. I waited just to watch it drop because he does not miss many. Giffey averaging 67% for 3.
Very good reverse of the ball by UConn. They took their time. UConn penetrated a little bit at the other end, and they had really good reversal on that shot.
The UConn Huskies, as you mentioned, they will get out and get ahead of everybody, but they also moved the ball around for Giffey.
Well, when they got ahead of everybody, as you said there, it was just reluctance for Stanford to bust their tails getting down the floor, and then little penetration and the shot from the corner. Those were 2 great offensive sets for UConn.
When you see your team miss a shot and hang their head a little bit and not get back on defense, that must make you lose a few hairs.
Yeah.
John Saunders and Bob Knight here in Hartford, Connecticut. UConn Huskies taking on the Stanford Cardinal. We're close to the holidays. By the way, happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Same to you and same to all the people out there watching. And this is a good matchup. These are 2 teams that are playing well. Each team is, basketball is a game, in my mind, John, more of mistakes than anything else. It's not great plays, it's limiting mistakes. And I've always felt that the team that makes the fewest mistakes in a game, whether it be offensively or defensively, has the best chance to win.
Well, in these teams, they're going to have the best chance to win if their guards play extremely well. And right now they're off to a pretty good start. Both teams have a great pair. Jason Randall and Anthony Brown, Shabazz Napier and Ryan Boatwright. Some people argue that Shabazz Napier might be the best guard in the country, and everybody's talking about the freshman so much this year.
Well, I'd rather wait and give that kid a little chance to play 15, 18 games rather than throwing something at him like that, as some people have done. Let's let kids work into things a little bit. Obviously here, I think we've seen some very good play, John, at both ends of the floor. And particularly, we've seen each team work to get good shots.
Let's get more with our Andy Katz.
You guys just were talking about the backcourt of UConn, and that's the reason that certainly the Huskies are in contention for the American Conference title with Louisville, with Memphis. And in talking to Kevin Ollie during shoot-around earlier on Wednesday, he says, look, I think this league has the best guards in the country with the 4 at Memphis, Russ Smith, and obviously leading Louisville, and the guards that he has right here. And as we said at the top of this game, they firmly believe Shabazz Napier is the best player in the country in terms of maybe a potential MVP with what he's done on and off the court. He was the first one here working with the rest of the team. And Kevin Ollie says, look, I don't have to tell him to do this. He is doing this on his own. He has become an extension of me, a leader. They're actually hoping that Ryan Boatwright can take that baton the way Napier took it from Kemba Walker.
Well, Andy, thanks a lot. Of course, when you watch Kemba Walker just take the entire team on your shoulders and win a national championship.
Now we got Stanford in man-to-man that time, and we did not get what you would think to be a very good shot from Cromah in there. He was under a little pressure in the corner, and he took the shot anyhow.
Cromah, of course, transferred from George Washington. He's actually a grad student right now.
Good pressure on the perimeter. Good, nice switch. Good pickup with a switch there.
Oh, Brown dumps it underneath Eustace. With a great job to go up and drop it down.
Olander was a little slow on the defense down at that end with the bucket, John. Needed to get a better positioning on the offensive man.
And Houston's got a piece of Boatwright's shot, and Tayshaun Randall got to the other end in a hurry and picks up a foul, so he'll go to the line. Just the third team foul on UConn.
Boatwright needed to be up higher there. He's down too deep. The driver takes the ball in right on top of it.
Randall off the back iron there. One more. I want to welcome everyone in who watched North Carolina and Texas. We're here in Hartford, Connecticut. Stanford Cardinal, a 1-point lead over the UConn Huskies. Huskies ranked number 10 in the nation. That's Shabazz Napier, their leader. Finds Olander, who had a clean look at it. Almost one of those where it's like, whoops, I'm wide open.
Great offensive play by Napier. He had to pull up because of defensive traffic, and he looked for people, found the ball, found the postman open, got it to him, didn't take advantage of it.
Nastic. Stanford can be really long across the front line. And they can step away from the bucket as well. Tyler Olander.
Missed a cutter there.
Looking for Gafai. Chases down the ball. Gafai trying to work, and he took steps. Trying to get an advantage on Powell, but Powell had that height.
When he came into him with the ball, he had a chance to go right up with it and then didn't. And that's why he ended up losing it.
Stanford is 7-2, but even Johnny Dawkins, when we talked today, said the two losses were terrible against BYU and Pitt. They just did not play well defensively. Powell goes in, misses. Nastic tries to put it back, and he gets fouled.
Now there was a situation of a drive being made but in a gap, and the gap on defense was not closed. You're going to see it right there. If the gap is closed, there's no danger of a foul being committed and probably a very difficult shot to be made.
It's Amita Brima with the foul, the freshman who has not been playing basketball very long, just about 4 years. Played high school ball in Miami. He's from Ghana, but he is a quick learner.
Got a nice body for a big, slender kid. He's got good mobility.
He gets up and down the floor really well, and he gets up. Oh, look at Shabazz Napier. Plus, he wanted the foul, too.
I think he caught Brown a little bit by surprise. Brown had good position, and I just don't think he thought that Napier was going to take the shot from that distance, and all of a sudden, he's up and delivered without Brown being able to apply any resistance.
Comes right back out to Cromah. He gets popped in the face. Boatwright with a fancy move and into the trees. Doesn't finish, but what a great little stutter step
One of the things that happens a lot, John, and you know this as well as I do, that when that driver gets inside the foul line, there's a real opportunity for him as he takes the shot here. He hits that one, but right here's what the drive. He's going to get the drive, and he's going to get fouled, and that makes a lot of things here. The 1-and-1 or the 2-shot, another foul toward the 2-shot foul. There are a lot of things that come from a good drive.
Anthony Brown is guarding Napier because of the difference in length, but if you keep your hands down, it doesn't matter how tall you are, right?
Yeah, no question. You take away some of what you've got naturally to give, and you get those hands. The arm spread is a real important thing in defensive play, because if I spread my arms, I've taken three times as much space as I would by just using my body in there. And they have not been, they being Connecticut, have not really sealed off the drive as they've got to. There's a good move on the drive there.
Shot from outside misses everything. As Lemons just can't find even a piece of the iron. We're knotted at 21 apiece, under 8 to go.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And Audi, truth in engineering. Holiday Hoops, presented by K Jewelers.
This is the American Conference on ESPN as part of Holiday Hoops, presented by K Jewelers. 21-21, Stanford and UConn, the Cardinal out of the Pac-12. Shabazz Napier, they were talking about him in practice today a lot, and here is the reason why. One of those leaders who can do it, whether he's dishing or scoring as well.
You know, he's got a really good concept of the game, John, to begin with, and he reacts well to the defense. Like, he knows when he can take the shot. He knows when he's got an opportunity to drive. And when he drives, he pays attention to where his teammates are. And that makes the guy a triple threater when he moves the ball toward the bucket on the drive.
Shot out of there from deep by Brown off the mark, and that's a shot clock violation. They didn't have a lot of clock to work with to begin with. And then take a shot that misses everything.
I think he took the shot very hurriedly, and it was under some pressure, too. He wasn't left alone. There was good defense on him, but I think because of the amount of time left, they got it up as quick as they could.
Good fly with it. Finds Boatwright. Napier's on the bench, so it'll be Boatwright who runs the show, wants a little space.
Good, really good defense until they got that split. But they still were okay.
Powell with the block. Oh, wow, I'm surprised that's not called goaltending.
I'm not sure. I think he got it on the way up, John.
Wow, Brima with a great swat. He's very quick. And the ball on the floor, and Lemons comes up with it. That's tied up. Possession arrow goes to UConn, or rather Stanford. We'll take another look. What do you think?
I think he got it. I think he got a piece of it going up. I don't think it had started down when he got it. It just was so far
It was up there a long time.
Yeah. You're not used to anybody going up that high.
That's a great point. A lot of big guys don't jump that well. I mean, I'm sure you know that better than anybody. He jumps very well.
Well, look how rangy he is, how lanky, and look at that. Now, that was a lot of pressure that the shot was taken right there and drilled it, but it wasn't because of him not being in defensive position.
Houston's knocking that one down. Napier, who didn't get much of a rest. Defy. Cut off, still launches one from the baseline. Powell with the rebound.
Napier knows, we mentioned this before, Napier knows where people are, John. That's the most important thing that a guy with the ball can have, is the ability to see the rest of the offense and get it where we're going to do the most damage.
Powell drives and uses the glass. A little bit too strong. Napier, look at the vision. Eyes up all the way. Calhoun from outside.
Napier was looking at Calhoun all the way down the floor to make sure that he got him the ball if he was open, and he was open, and Napier delivered the ball. That's a kid that really pays attention to his teammates.
Randall tries to answer back. No good, but chased down by Lemons. Nice pump fake, but look at Bryman go up with another block for the Huskies. And then Napier.
He walked. That was a good call. He lost his balance a little bit when he got in the lane. That was a very good call. Down at the other end, he anticipated the block. He did a great job sliding in front of the driver, and it was almost impossible to get it over him.
Andy, Amita Brima has been a big surprise with the UConn Huskies.
He's made 3 good plays. Brima's made 1 good play at the offensive end and 2 at the defensive end since he's been in the game. Fake.
Eustace gets it on the back iron, too strong.
Didn't shut off the drive the last 2 times like they should.
Calhoun with a wide open look.
Push off.
Defy got that rebound with a little shove in the back. Kevin Ollie,
there are few referees in the stands didn't like the call. No.
Just a few. Oh boy. What do you miss more about coaching? The fans, the players, or the refs?
Let's John,
oh boy.
You know, I miss working with the kids. I miss watching, I always will miss watching the development of the players, but I'm happy to be doing what I am with guys like you.
Oh, nice soft touch. Powell drops that down.
Really was a good touch. Got a little loft to his jump, and nice easy movement with his arm.
Napier again. Houston staying with him. And Napier backs him up, then drives to the hoop.
That was a little too much dribbling for me. He put the ball on the floor 8 times in that possession instead of just getting into a gap, bring 2 people to the ball, and now you're playing 4-on-3 somewhere else. He's done, although for the most part, a really, really good job when he has the ball. Whether it's working to get somebody else open, taking the drive.
Oh, boy, I'm telling you, Daniels just created something that wasn't there.
Boy, I'll say, and that was a heck of a soft touch, being off balance like he was. Defense did all they could do there. That was a great offensive play by Daniels. Sometimes the defense lets the basket be scored, not intentionally. That's a miss.
Brown well off the mark. Daniels sees an opening. Back outside, great touch pass. Oh, and UConn's got it going right now.
They do a great job knowing where each other is and looking for each other. Guy with the ball, with 1 or 2 exceptions, has always been looking if somebody else is open.
7-2 run by the Huskies. Powell tries to answer from deep. Napier with the rebound. Drives it hard into the teeth of the defense. Oh!
No
and
bucket.
You know what? I think that ball was going to go down.
I don't think there's any question. I think it was on the way down when he went up. Now, that's a really careless play where you're not paying attention to the circumstances.
Daniels just cost his squad a bucket as Napier drives in.
Regardless, you can't touch it when it's hanging over the bucket.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll look forward to that at halftime. Get us up to date on everything that's going on because we are closing in on conference play time right around the corner. Stanford Cardinal, of course, in the Pac-12. They're picked to finish as low as 6th this year, Andy.
And John, this is Stanford's 2nd trip to the East Coast. At the end of November, they played in the Legends Classic, playing Houston and Pitt. And then on this 2nd swing, as Coach and I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, here they are at UConn on a Wednesday night. Then they play Michigan at the Barclays Center over the weekend. And talking to Johnny Dawkins earlier in the week, he did say there's a little bit of a sense of urgency to come out of this trip with something they can hang their hat on, some sort of signature win going into the Pac-12. Now, the big difference here, though, is that this season in the Pac-12, It's a higher level of teams. You're going to get better quality wins against Arizona, Oregon, at least the potential for that, UCLA. And so there's a little bit more depth, and they got more chances for power ranking wins. But this kind of split East Coast trips, they can't lose all 4. They got to get they can't lose, 3 of 4. They got to get a split out of this weekend.
All right, Andy. Johnny Dawkins also said when he started scheduling all the games, he said if you look at some of his games, it looks like they're playing some of the weaker teams, but he said even in those games, they've decided to play the teams that are going to finish in the top 3 or so of their conference. So it's going to make their RPI go up come the end of the season. Randall from outside buries a 3-pointer.
You got to be careful dropping away from him. They gave him a lot of room when the pass was returned from the foul line extended to the shot on top, and nobody was there to get any pressure on him. He went up really well with the shot.
Daniels turns around on the baseline, and I guess when you make one tough shot, you start to believe everything will go.
I'm not so sure that you want that kind of shot. That was not a very good attempt by Daniels. It was a wasted possession.
Chroma outside to Daniels. Put it back in the hands of the guy who'll control everything.
And, you know, he comes back out and he gets everybody set again. He's not in a hurry. He knows he's got time to get things started.
Daniels, the help comes, so he's in trouble. Swing it all the way across court. Chroma with a 3-pointer.
You couldn't expect anybody to catch and step and go up with better form than Chroma had on that shot. He wasn't in a hurry, but he got it up. He got just perfect position with the shot.
Brown, tough little try, but again, UConn's defense coming up good. 6 of 10 from 3 as well for UConn.
Turn back.
Nolan spun around.
He just waited till he was doubled up. He had to move to the beginning, and then he kept the ball too long.
Brown finger rolled the ball and finger rolled it short.
Boatwright made a great steal on that when he got into it, got the ball back. Oh.
Napier tried to get a little fancy with that pass.
I think he was tipped on the way out.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it was lucky for him as well that it did get tipped. It was very close to being a turnover, and UConn wants a timeout. Pretty entertaining game here in Hartford. 33-28 Huskies.
He's a pretty good player. I like him. John, when I was coaching at this point, we've got that 5-point lead. UConn does. I'm saying to myself, let's make sure we don't let up here. Let's make sure we at least maintain 5-point lead that we've worked on to the buzzer rings for the half. Stanford in a zone.
Oh, Boatwright just tried to create something that really wasn't there. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
The one thing that Stanford wants here is that UConn has to throw the ball out. They get it inside, they have a good chance to score, and I think there's a foul.
Nolan got it in the paint. Looks like Eustace.
Now this is, if you're the other guy that's behind by 5, if you're Stanford now, you're saying to yourself, we don't want him to get any further ahead of us. And they're going to with that one. And if he has as good a touch on this one, it goes to 7 up instead of 5 up. And that's not what you want going into the half. They just got half of what they had.
Timeout called by Johnny Dawkins in Stanford. We'll have a chance to talk about what they want to do with this possession.
This is it doesn't seem like it with 20 minutes left to play, but this possession is an important possession for Stanford, because if they don't get a score here, then with the clock the way it is, Connecticut is going to be able to come down the floor with plenty of time to get a good shot, and in doing that, they've got a chance of going up 8 or 9. And that's why getting a good bucket here, getting to the free throw line, I think is very important to Stanford in the ball game.
Well, if you're Stanford right now, do you want to shoot quickly so you get the ball back?
Well, you know, you've just got 31 seconds. I look up there and I say to myself at the timeout, we're going to take a shot with no more than 5 seconds left.
Oh, so you're going to work it off.
Yeah, and then that way you have no chance of Connecticut getting a score. If they shoot it too quick, Connecticut's going to have a chance to get a score. Just like, oh, lucky there. Randall made a heck of a save. All right, now that's big. See, there they go.
Boatwright drops it in.
8 points.
And now they can hold it for the final shot.
Now it's huge now for Stanford to get a bucket, but it would be really, really discouraging if Connecticut can play defense well on this possession so they don't get a score. Now they've got to help.
Ooh, Boatwright fouls Randall.
UConn really moves here, gets ahead of a pack by about 10 steps and gets a really good bucket that puts them up by 8. All right, now here's 7 seconds. Very important.
Oh, stolen. Ahead of the pack is Chroma.
Devastating. Those last 2 possessions by Stanford not getting anything and giving up 4 points, John, is devastating.
You talked about maintaining a 5-point lead. They stretched it to 10.
That's just, as I said, use the word devastating. That was, and I'll tell you what, you got to give the UConn kids credit for reacting to the ball, getting into their possession and getting down the floor. They did a great job of that on those 2 possessions.
Let's check in with Andy Katz.
All right, thank you, John. Johnny, what happened to that offensive patience in the last couple of minutes of the half?
You know, well, for us, you know, we didn't value the possessions at the end. I thought we quick shot. You know, we settled a lot, and you know, they turned bad offense into their offense, and that's what they were able to do to end the half.
Defensively, how do you shore it up and certainly eliminate some of those transitions?
What we need to do is value the basketball. If we can value the basketball and take good shots, that gives us a chance to come back and set our half-court defense up, and that's what we have to do the second half.
Appreciate it, Johnny. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Back to you, John.
All right, Andy, thanks a lot. A 10-point lead for the UConn Huskies. Things heating up in Hartford. Let's join Mac Fredis and Carol Lawson.
We'll win this game. Back to you, guys.
All right, Andy, thanks a lot. Kevin Ollie. Still not smiling, but it's only halftime. Napier finds Calhoun. His shot just grazes the iron and right in the hands of Powell, and so that's what's cut in.
That's where Calhoun needed a shot fake. He got a lot of pressure on him. He gives a little shot fake, which, as you know, is about my favorite thing in basketball, but he didn't do it.
I've heard that. I've heard you like the shot fake. You must have been great at it when you played at Ohio State.
Well, no. I wish I'd had a good shot fake.
Boatwright, little crossover, little
really nice move by Boatwright, though. Big kid ends up drawing a foul. Boatwright handled the ball really well, and he got it to Daniels, and Daniels was able to get to the bucket. Watch this. This is pretty good play by Boatwright. Right there, he's going to look really good. Doesn't take a bad shot, and we get a reach from Stanford rather than a slide to help out. If they help out, there's not going to be 2 shots made here, because there could have been no shot taken, but there was no help. And Stanford has not helped real well on things moving toward the bucket, John, in this game.
And Nastich got into a position where he was kind of in no man's land. After Boatwright backed him up, he wasn't guarding anybody, so he was just reaching.
Well, and this is about 7 straight points, I think, that that UConn has thrown at Stanford.
Powell tries to drop it down to the baseline. Shabazz Napier gets whistled for the foul.
Really, Napier was in kind of bad position. He wasn't between the man and the bucket and tried to step in front of the man and pushed him on the foul. He just was out of position to begin with. Nobody got back on the shooter, and they were lucky.
And nobody got on that rebound except Powell.
Yeah, nobody on the shooter and no block out at all there. Let's see if they help here.
Nolan turns. Nope. He hasn't taken many shots today, but when he has, it's been a struggle for Nolan.
Seemed like the word struggle came to my mind too, John. It seemed like a struggle to get the shot off, like he just couldn't get up really easily and comfortably and take the shot. Playing man-to-man here with some switching when necessary. Always think that the switch has to be involved in good man-to-man defense. No pressure on the shooter for the second time, and they missed both of them.
And Nastic again. He's had a couple of clean looks and not hit him. DeAndre Daniels with the foul.
Well, here's one of the things, you know, you've gone a little over a minute and a half, and this already is the second foul committed by UConn, and you don't want to get them in the two-shot foul. You try to keep them out of it the entire game.
Stanford shoots it pretty well as well, so. Tremendous drive down there by Powell, but he can't finish.
They've had 3 really good moves to the bucket and haven't completed any of them.
Oh, Daniels has it swatted back in his face by Nastic. Randall back outside and underneath trying to draw the foul.
A blocking call.
Yeah, it's on Nolan. So this has been kind of a herky-jerky, sloppy first couple of minutes in this second half.
Well, for both teams, really, but Nastic has had some opportunities to get it in the hole down at the other end and just hasn't been able to.
Randall. Again, we've got some people a little bit bumped around or out of control underneath, just throwing it up like they hope somebody will blow a whistle.
They're hoping something because they've had 4 tosses, and not shots, but just 4 tosses up on the glass, all of which have resulted in rebounds by the team wearing white.
Oh, great pass underneath. Nolan can't finish. And he gets fouled. Nastic with the foul.
Backs off really well. Great pass inside, and I think walked with it before he was fouled.
Nice pass, though.
Nolan shooting 2.
He's got a nice delivery for a big kid, big young kid. Watch how he brings the ball up and he gets an extension of his left arm, and that hand breaks right now like he's going to put his hand in the bucket right there. Really, really good release.
Nolan, a sophomore who spent the offseason really strengthening his body and his game. He's gotten a lot better than Kevin Ollie. Ooh, that was a tough pass underneath for Powell. Stanford just every trip. Johnny Dawkins getting frustrated. Just a turnover or a missed shot.
That was a good pass, though, because he led him just perfectly and hit him in a bad spot, the hands.
Yeah, right in the hands. I hate when that happens. Boatwright. Oh, shifty play. Oh, dumps it to Gaffey.
You know, there isn't anything better in a guard than one that sees the court and sees everybody else, and that's exactly what he saw right there. Boatwright really knew where people were.
Gage sets the screen, and converting the shot to Anthony Brown.
That's big bucket for Brown because they just haven't gotten much done.
Eustace snatches the rebound. Brown this time just clears Boatwright out. Finds Daniel in the corner. Randall, rather.
there must not have been enough contact there for the foul to be called.
It was a big bump. Chason Randall with 13 points.
Stanford's in the zone, and with the big kid in the middle, whichever one they have in there, it's taken away some of what UConn wants to do inside.
So it was extremely sloppy, and then both teams figuring out how to score suddenly. Play it Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN, and watch ESPN. And if that's Santa Claus, I do not want him showing up at my house.
You know, you made a good point there, among many good points you make, but the 7 that Connecticut got at the end of the first half, really important. Stanford got 3 of those back. So that was a good start for Stanford in the second half, but now they still got to whittle away at it.
Especially considering the way they played, the number of times they turned the ball over down there.
I mean, they've gotten 3 when they probably should have had 10 or 12 down at the other end.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a very good point. UConn staying in man-to-man. They're dropping back just a little bit, trying to take away the drive, which they didn't do there.
Randall again. Another one of those shots they wish they had another look at, but it won't go, and they still retain possession.
You know, if they're under pressure a little bit, they've got to stop inside, fake, and then take it up. They're throwing some shots up from an awkward angle, John. They're getting the ball in close to the bucket, but I don't think they've come close to making it. That was a terrible throw-in right there.
Yeah, Boatwright read that the entire way. There's no foul call, but and then Napier chases it down. Boatwright goes after it. Did not save it. Very close, but as a coach, you have to appreciate the hustle.
Oh, yeah, that was a great move. But this kid throws a lot of himself into the game, John. There isn't anything that he lets up on. Boatwright is after it at both ends of the game. You know, I think that he said, I'm out there to play as hard as I can all the time, and he does it. Staying that man-to-man. Now, there's a good back screen.
Powell could not control the pass, and that ball's carried. So it's a turnover for the Huskies. So Stanford with some empty trips, but just the same, they've seen UConn's lead slip from 10 down to 7.
This has not been a real good 5 minutes of play here from either team.
It has not been a clinic, but UConn's lead is now down to 7. Back to Hartford in a moment. All right, Max, thanks a lot. Keep holding the fort down there. I know those can be long nights, but you're up to the task. UConn's lead 7. Johnny Dawkins. Well, you can look at from 2 ways. You can be frustrated by the way your team has played, that you're 3 of 9, but your defense has allowed 1 of 7 for UConn.
Well, you know, basically, though, this has been 5 minutes of pretty sloppy play here in the second half at both ends. You know, we'd have to do a pretty good job of icing the cake to get anything really positive out of this. Neither team has taken advantage, and both have made several mistakes. Not as good a play as the first half.
Eustace backs up, tough shot. And winds up just empty again.
You called it right, John. It's got to be a better shot than that. There's no way that you should wind up a possession with that kind of a shot.
I would think you can get that shot with 2 seconds in the shot clock, right?
I think anytime you wanted it, you can get that shot. UConn isn't as aggressively going toward the bucket as they were in the first half. They've held the ball outside a lot.
Napier working on Brown.
Give it up. Give it up. You know, what going to see good defensive action right here. Help, comes to get it, gets a piece of it. A little bit too much dribble. You know, I used to have a rule that if you had to bounce the ball more than twice, throw it to me.
5 on the shot clock. Romo launches with 2 on the clock. Off the mark, Eustace with the rebound.
Neither team has gotten a real good possession offensively thus far in this half.
Powell.
Now they got to double up on him.
Tries to duck under. Goes the left hand, won't go. Gets it back, but gets stripped of the ball. A lot of hands in there. Gaffai gets called for the foul.
You know, they should have, if we're going to look at the foul right here, but what do you think, John? I think that there should have been maybe 3 or 4 buckets from Stanford inside so far in this half,
easily.
and they haven't gotten any.
Easily. And I'm not so sure they didn't get a lucky break on that, because there's a lot of orange on that play.
They've gotten the ball in close. They've taken it to the bucket. That it almost, to me, seems like Stanford inside is throwing the ball up toward the bucket. Pick place on the glass and put it on the glass. You've got a much better chance of it going in than if you hit the glass first and it comes down in than trying to get that little jump hook that go right in the center of the bucket. That's always a shot I like to have played off the glass rather than a straightaway shot on the bucket.
At least he's got a chance then, right?
Well, this defense is back far enough that they may settle for a 3 in here. Careless pass and a great pass there.
Powell to Randall. Oh, Randall, a nice job to protect the ball and get it up to Powell. And a 9-2 run now has dropped this down incredibly to a 4-point game.
Well, they just haven't. They've been Connecticut. Connecticut has just not taken advantage of very much of what they've had inside.
Powell now has a double-double, and that great assist on that play, a steal and an assist on the one play.
Well, this has been a complete turnaround, John, from the end of the first half to so far 7 minutes into the second half. It was all UConn at the end of the first half, and basically it's been all Stanford with any success at all here in the beginning of the second half. They've just seemed to have been more concentrated, and they have not really gotten as much out of getting the ball inside as they should have.
And in reality, maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but I don't think Stanford's played that well in the second half either.
I think you're right, but comparatively speaking, they've just been able to do more with the ball than UConn has. Now Stanford's going to go into a little bit of a semi-press here. Now they let up.
Step forward on a trap. Olander. Napier tries to force it in to Daniels, and it just bounces around. It still belonged to UConn. It's a tough pass in there, that close to throw a bounce pass.
This is something UConn needs to get something here in the net. They just haven't been able to thus far. Give it up and go inside, Olander.
Shot clock under 10 now. Boatwright with it. Chroma, three-pointer, no good.
Now, see, I think Chroma has a shot fake there. You know how I am about the shot fake. If we were to look at that again, he shot under a lot of pressure. A shot fake gives him a wide open shot or draws a foul. It's just so valuable, and actually it's so unused.
Trouble getting the ball into play. UConn 1 of 10 from the field in this half.
They're changing around pretty good with the 2-3 zone and man-to-man. You've got to get into the gaps of that zone. You're not going to do anything just passing around the perimeter. Somebody's there, right into the gaps. Good feed.
Olander goes up, misses everything, and UConn comes up empty.
He gave up a good opportunity for a shot to take a bad one.
Boy, Hughes just comes down with confidence and hits the jumper that closed the lead down to 2.
They have really dominated, they being Stanford in the second half, and UConn is not doing a very good job of playing against this 2-3 zone.
11-2 run by Stanford. Chroma underneath, maybe too far underneath the bucket.
Boy, that's about 7 attempts they've had inside within 3 feet of the bucket and haven't gotten anything.
Boy, Powell has missed a bunch of chances underneath. with the left, right hand. Boat right comes up short. UConn can't buy a bucket. Randall gets a couple of bodies in the air and drops it down, and will have a chance to give Stanford the lead.
That's an amazing turnaround from the end of that first half.
Tied at 43 with a free throw coming. When we come back, both of these teams have had very different travel schedules. We'll look at by bus or by plane. You make the choice.
Welcome back to the XL Center here in Hartford, Connecticut, as Stanford has a chance to take the lead after coming back to tie the game at 43-all. Well, the Cardinal tried to get adjusted to the East Coast by getting here on Monday, and one of the stops here on the East Coast was to go by ESPN studios in Bristol. Johnny Dawkins making a little cameo on our podcast, and this is the second trip to the East Coast in the last 6 weeks for the Stanford Cardinal. They were in Brooklyn for the Legends Classic. They're heading back to Brooklyn this Saturday to play Michigan. A little bit of a unique twist here. After this game tomorrow, UConn heads west to take on Washington on Saturday. So they'll be in Seattle for 48 hours to get adjusted to the West Coast. Back to you, Coach and John.
Well, Andy, we know how Coach feels about travel, but look at the mileage here. And actually, Stanford, with only 4 games off campus, traveling almost 12,000 miles. But he wanted to stay, what you tell me, within an hour of campus for these non-conference games?
An hour and a half, but you know, it's almost like UConn went into the locker room at the halftime thinking the game was over with, because they've come out here and just have played very, very poorly at both ends. They've had a lot of opportunities around the bucket that they haven't converted, and they've given up points at the other end. They have seemed to be more alive with less of a reason to be alive than Stanford with all their travel and everything.
A 10-point lead is now a 1-point deficit. UConn's gone 6 minutes without scoring. Napier trying to end that. His jump shot is good.
Now that's really the very first shot they've taken totally under control. Napier got in the gap in the zone, went up really well. We're going to get a walking violation here.
No, they're going to call a foul against Powell.
Yeah, I'm sorry, foul on the screen. But I think there's also a walk there, too, to start with.
That's Powell's first. And just the third team foul as we approach the 10-minute mark.
Now they're still staying in that 2-3 zone. Now you got to get in the gaps of it. There's a good move right there. Get it reversed. Don't dribble toward the guy you're going to pass to. That doesn't help anything. Not a good shot.
Oh, a long one.
Patience, patience.
Randall drops it off to Gage. Stanford bigs all want to shoot long distance shots.
Tight game. The shot that's going to draw a foul or give you an opportunity to score with the shot is important. Don't be in such a hurry. You can always get a 3. Don't be in such a hurry to get it.
Napier working on Brown again. Dumps it down to Brima.
That's the fifth basket opportunity straight under the rim that UConn has had without converting any of them this half in the last 10.5 minutes. 6 times they've had the ball within a step and haven't gotten it.
Foul drives and drives himself a trip to the free throw line. What's your impression of Powell as far as his future goes? There are a lot of NBA scouts following him around this season and last year as well.
You know, first, he's got some outside skills. He can shoot the ball. He can put it on the floor. He's not going to be strong enough to battle those big guys they have inside in the post, though. But I would not look upon him as an NBA general manager to play in the post for us. I'd want him as a forward.
Oh. That ball because everybody on UConn fell asleep.
You cannot give the foul shooting team the rebound if it's missed. Just can't do that. They've got to get a better spread than they have. UConn does against this zone. Get on top and get in the middle.
Napier swings it cross court. Calhoun short arms it.
That was a good call on the short arm, John, because that was not a very good shot. That was like shooting under great pressure, real tight. Just didn't get the ball there from 4 feet.
UConn with a short shot clock as well, but a great entry pass, and Daniels converts it.
Boy, that was a tremendous pass from out of bounds, but Daniels did a great job of moving to be in position to get the ball and score. That was the biggest bucket of the game for UConn so far.
Powell turns around, strong off the glass, too strong. Daniels rips the rebound down. Oh, Boatwright careless with the ball.
Very careless. One hand.
Brown just dances to the bucket and drops it down. Now Napier off to the races. Finger roll is good.
That's really the first time under control that UConn has converted from defense to offense.
Gage in the post calling for the ball. Brown with it now, working on Napier. He's got the size advantage. Napier with the quick hands rips it free.
There really wasn't any shot there for him. Holy cow.
Long three by Napier. I think he still had a foot in the Husky before he shot that.
Ooh, I believe I might have taken time out on that shot.
Might have had a word for your senior.
If it'd been more than one, John, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I'd wanted with just one word. Good turn.
Oh, Powell, you know, he's got some nice shots. I've been kind of critical of saying he's taking some bad ones under there, but some of them just won't drop. They're rattling around and out.
Well, he's very agile. He does a good job. He's going to get stronger, but I think he, again, as we were talking a little while ago, he's the kind of kid that can be a forward and also post up. But they just have not, and neither team has been able to do what's been available to him around the bucket.
Well, Kevin Ollie's squad hasn't been able to do much of anything. If you're just joining us, it was a 10-point lead at halftime for UConn. It was really a 5-point game with about 30 seconds to go, and then UConn just controlled the last 30 seconds to go into the locker room to lead by 10, but in the second half, not much of anything. The good hands here is Boatwright just got careless, and Powell was able to come up with the steal here. Brown takes it down around Napier, and then Shabazz Napier just comes back at the other end and glides through the air before the finger roll drops.
That was about the best movement and the best attack on the basket that UConn has had, that last bucket that Napier got.
Let's see what Kevin Ollie has drawn up in that timeout. Drawn up something that makes the irons work for him a little bit. Calhoun.
Not close.
Ooh. Well off the mark, and so Randall now drops it back to Brown. Randall swings it to Gage in the corner. Oh, just cleared out. Everybody moved away when he picked up the dribble as if they were going to passers that weren't there.
I think he was the most surprised player on the floor, person in the arena. Now, all of a sudden, when he looked, hey, there's nobody here, I can shoot.
Jason Randall with 20 points for Stanford. Calhoun to Napier. Look at three. Not good. And Powell has just been tremendous on the boards. 14 rebounds.
Connecticut is very slowly playing with the ball on the perimeter, John. They're not aggressive, moving the ball one way and the other way. and they're taking shots without really working to get a shot. They've not played well at all in the second half.
No, they haven't. And Brown had a pretty good look there. That rimmed out. 5:30 to go, and Stanford from down 10 to up 1. So you got a nice surprise. A chance to see Boomer. Boomer's at 6'5", 6'6", so when there's a bunch of guys that are taller than him, you know, they're bringing some size. And UConn better find a way to bring some of their size up front. Amita Brima, the freshman 7-footer, is in. And Nastic has come back in.
There's a big change in UConn's approach, the players' approach, coming out in the second half than what they had at the end of the first half. Maybe it was something like, and we're going to get some full court pressure here. Got to get somebody in the middle of it. I don't like the setup they have against the zone.
Boatwright tries to penetrate.
Pass fake. Don't dribble and pass in the same direction. That could go. Oh.
Boatwright's going to get another chance at it and brings it back out to Napier. What would you want them doing against the Suns?
I want them to dribble in and get both of those guys coming to the ball. Then you're playing 4-on-3 elsewhere. Now there, he brought two. Get it over here to Boatwright. That's not a good pass. You got to have two guys inside, down low, both of them. You don't need that guy out in the corner. Now these two guys have got to be exchanging spots inside. Now that's the best kind of shot they're getting. They're not getting anything that goes inside where they're going to draw a foul. Get those two guys inside. One comes up, goes down. The next one comes up, and look to go to him. Shot fake, go to the free throw line.
UConn 4 of 25 in this half. They'll get this one back.
They've got guys inside that really are being covered. Nobody over here at all. You've got to have a three-man front against a 2-3 zone.
Napier, nice drive, but great defense by Stanford made him change the shot. When he did, it's a turnover.
Well, I'll tell you, I got a lot of admiration for these Stanford kids. You know, I talked about their trip out here and everything, but they've made more with what they've got by far in the second half than UConn has.
And in their two losses to BYU and Pitt, they did not look like a good basketball team. If you look at the rest of the schedules, you basically pretty much say they should have won those games. Randall in off the glass, dances it down.
They've not reacted well defensively. The inside man in that zone should have swiped that ball away. He wasn't even close to it when he released it.
Randall now with 22 points, and Stanford with a 3-point lead. Oh, Daniels trying to do something that's not his game and dribbling that ball. Kevin Ollie's squad has issues right now as Stanford has opened up a 3-point lead, and Chason Randall having a terrific game. By K Jewelers Thursday at 7:30. The UConn is down by 3, but they've been no stranger to close games in this season. On the 8th of November to start the season, they beat Maryland by 1 up to the Barclays Center. Then in Madison Square Garden, got by Boston College 72-70, then beat Indiana 59-58. And then, of course, one of the great endings of the season, Shabazz Napier with a great rebound off his miss for a buzzer beater against Florida. Andy Katz, I'm sure you watched all of those games.
Well, I was actually at that game trying to chase Shabazz down for an interview after that, but I think Coach Knight can appreciate it wasn't just Napier on that last play. It was that tap back by DeAndre Daniels that really allowed that Napier shot. But the team sometimes relies too much on Shabazz Napier to bail them out. They may have to do that here in the final three minutes as well.
Andy, right now, bailing out might not be the issue. If it gets too far away from him. Great defense by UConn. They've turned it up right now. 5 on the shot clock. Stanford turns it over.
Get into trouble against the zone. You can't stay in trouble by keeping the ball on the baseline. Get it back out and start all over again, because once you get it on the corner baseline, there's not much you can do with it.
Just 8 turnovers for each team. So you had that in about 3 minutes of the first half.
Come up in the middle. Come up in the middle. One of those big guys has got to come up and then reverse it.
Shot clock is down to 7. Giffey, tough shot. Rattles halfway down, and Daniels stays with it.
Well, that was a tough tip in there, John. He had to extend fully to get a piece of the ball.
Oh, Brown picked up his dribble in a tough spot. Oh, and then Napier reaching in. Words for each other.
Officials did a really good job there. Those two kids got to scrapping a little bit, and it was broken up right away, and nothing happened. No one got penalized from it.
The only thing that got hurt were people's feelings on this one.
Did a very, very good job handling that.
Shabazz Napier, when you go face to face with somebody, it's not good when their face is higher than yours.
That's a great way of putting it. But when I look at this, and if I'm coaching UConn, I'm going to say after this game is over, no matter what happens, we have really got to work against the zone. We've got to get a lot more good opportunities against the zone than we're getting here. And we've got to have better spacing. We've got to be able to get the ball, come up, step out on one, come up from one side, step across on the other side, bring people to the ball, go where those guys have vacated a spot. And that's the thing that tomorrow at practice, regardless of win or loss in this game, I'd want to be working against that 2-3 zone.
Well, certainly other coaches who are watching this game, if UConn doesn't figure it out tonight, they'll certainly see a lot more of it the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're going to look at, when preparing for a team, you're always going to look at, all right, what have they had problems with? What haven't they done well? And then try to take advantage of that as much as you can.
Well, here's a look. The timeout is called. Shabazz Napier afterwards. Then a little bit of a swing by Brown. And then face to face. A little ball toss. The officials looking at that to see if they want to make any additional penalties or any penalties at all.
He handled it really well.
UConn's three-point shooting, 6 of 10 in the first half. They haven't hit one here in the second half in 8 attempts. Powell comes to the ball, or that was going to be a steal. Randall throwing the right out on him defensively. 4, 3, 2, 1, shoot it! Powell puts it on the floor. Randall thinks about a 3. Shot clock is at 5. Brown has to go to work. Tough shot. Off the iron, no good. Underneath, UConn comes away with the rebound. Chance to take the lead. And UConn wants a timeout. Shabazz Napier launched a shot anyway, but it was after the whistle had gone. And then he reaches down for his knees. A little bit tired. Friday, it's an NBA doubleheader presented by State Farm. First at 8, Dwight Howard and the Rockets face a tough road test. And they take on Paul George of the East leading Pacers. Then at 10:30, Kevin Love leads the Timberwolves against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. All starts with Kia NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN and watch ESPN. John Saunders alongside of Coach Knight. Down to 1:17 left. Stanford has the lead, a game that trailed by 10 at the half, in a game where both teams came out a little sloppy to start the second half. If you're UConn right now with the ball, 23 seconds left on the clock, what does Kevin Ollie draw?
Well, you know, you're behind. If you don't get anything out of this, then boy, oh boy, Stanford can put UConn in a really bad position here. But they've got to be aggressive. They've got to get into those gaps, which is, again, I keep saying that, but that's the way to attack this zone.
Well, Napier almost loses the ball. Finds Daniels. Gets it back in the hands of their leader.
That was a walk right there that wasn't called.
Oh, and then the foul gets called afterwards.
Boy, that was a no even thought walk that was made right there that they let go.
Hughes just picked up the foul, but it's just the 4th team foul, so not shooting yet.
Well, the most important thing was they got a 35-second clock out of this.
Well, but from Stanford's angle, a lot of time worked on it. I mean, they've got those fouls to give.
Well, they're going to take their time. If Stanford gets the ball back without UConn scoring, they're going to have a great chance to win.
Well, with those fouls to give, would you let them keep working it down, then reach out and foul?
Well, but they're making a mistake in what they're getting out of it. And now they've got a real chance to win, but they have not gotten good shots.
Napier again. Daniels follows. Reimer has it, loses it on the floor. Stanford basketball.
Now, here's the big part of this, John. As you well know, Stanford has a chance to winning the game right here without scoring another point. Well, what I'd do right now is, I don't know.
That's a fair answer.
Well, first of all, you can't let them take it down to nothing because they're already, if it stays like it is, they've already won the game.
Right.
And so you've got to be aggressive. I'd say over the first 10, 12 seconds, we've got to really be aggressive. And then we're going to have to foul maybe. If we get down to 15 seconds and they have still maintained this 1-point lead, because even if they make 2 free throws, we can tie it with a 3. If they're not careful, they wind up in a situation where they just can't win.
Right. Well, you got to reach out and foul at some point, or else the game's going to exactly run away from you. Time's going to run out. But it's just a question of how long you wait. Do you try and steal the ball within the first 10 seconds or so, which after that you reach for a foul? Officials are looking at another play as well.
You know what Stanford has to do here is not get hurt by making a bad play. Connecticut has got to work hard with the basketball to get it into a position where they can draw the foul on a drive, which they haven't been able to do because of how they handle the ball against that zone.
It looked like UConn had a foot out of bounds when the ball was touched, but not possession of the ball, so maybe that's what they're looking for, to see if there was actually possession. Little roll of the eye from a couple of officials as they look over here. Let's see how much UConn will try for a steal before they go for the foul. See Stanford keep it in the hands. As a team, they shoot free throws pretty well. Not tonight, though. 4 of 9. Randall trying to come to the ball. Ooh, almost stolen. Hughes just comes up with it. And then Napier right away with the foul.
Now, if he makes both shots, my guess is that UConn is going to come down and take a 3. And if they miss it and don't get the rebound, that'll be the game.
Well, what do you think about going for a quick 2, though? I mean, if he makes, it was 28 seconds, so he could come down, get a quick 2.
Yeah, what they want to do is get it inside where they can draw the foul. But they're going to have, now they're in a position where they have to have 3 to win. And I would kind of pick them up initially at full court and then get back in a hurry. Make them waste as much time, them being UConn. Don't let them just blow it down the floor. Huge.
Oh, and he misses it. So now UConn would win it with a three-pointer and just need a deuce to tie. Boatwright. And Kevin Ollie wants a timeout with 21.6 left. Well, that changes a lot for Kevin Ollie, because with the guards he has and the ability to penetrate, although now with 21 seconds left, would you stay in that zone, or would you suddenly now go switch to man-to-man?
I honestly think they should stay in the zone, John, because that's given UConn a lot of trouble. You know, what has UConn scored in the second half? It's not particularly good. They have not shot well. They haven't attacked it well. I don't think you got much more of a chance of fouling somebody in man-to-man than you do in the zone. But again, Stanford has got to penetrate that zone and get those two inside guys exchanging positions inside where a little fake is going to draw the foul. I think I would try, if I were Stanford, that's what I'd try to do if they get the ball. UConn with the ball almost has to do the same thing. They want to get something where they're going to get a foul if they don't get the basket.
Well, UConn's been outscored 25-13 in the second half.
And they've had such a poor shooting second half.
They have not hit a three-pointer in this half, and 5 of 29 from the field for UConn, and that's hard to believe, especially when you just throw the guards out there.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the way they ended the half, John. I don't think they really got oriented back into playing well in the second half, because right off the bat, Stanford took the game away from them at the beginning of the second half, because remember, they got a 10-point lead there at the half, and it looked like this game's over with.
Well, you would think that would drive them the other way. Oh, and the reach in, the foul to give. Stanford is good. You know, they can afford to let them work some time off the clock, then reach in and foul.
But see, they didn't let them work any time off the clock.
No, too fast.
They needed to let that go and go and go and then make the foul, because they only burned up about 3 seconds. They could have burned up 10 seconds there and made the foul.
There's still a couple to give, and that was pretty quick to get as well.
They should, at this point, in my mind, not have fouled to this point.
Well, they really only shaved about 3 seconds off the clock with those 2 fouls, and now they don't have any to give. Napier launches a 3 that's no good. Houston comes in and grabs the rebound. You like going for a 3? Going for the win, essentially?
You know, here's what I might do. If they make,
Oh, pardon me, that was a 2.
If Stanford gets a point here, I'm not so sure that I wouldn't come down on the next play and foul somewhere on the next play, because we'd still have. Well, they're not going to have it now. We'd have had a 3-point lead.
Last few seconds. Oh, Napier didn't try and do it this time. Calhoun with the last shot. Surprised to see Shabazz Napier give that ball up. And so was Calhoun.
Ooh, that was a brutal attempt there from UConn. They just came out so poorly in the second half, almost like, hey, this game's over with. Who do we play next? Very, very poor second half for Connecticut from the beginning.
Well, see, Napier had created space, and really Calhoun didn't have any better shot than Napier did.
No.
And certainly Napier more capable of making a shot even from that distance. But Stanford hands UConn their first loss of the season after 9 straight in a row. This has been a presentation.